Well, the Minister of Basic Education, Mhlanga, due to announce the government school matric results, the National Senior Certificate, at 6 o'clock tonight. That's after the Quality Assurance Council, Umulusi, approved the release of the result, saying that irregularities that were detected did not compromise the credibility and integrity of the exams. Zolo Shilwane is at the announcement tonight. Zolo, good afternoon to you. I imagine anticipation is building quite strongly.
Yes, certainly, Stephen. What I can tell you is that a lot of people are looking forward to tonight's results, with some officials hoping that Gauteng becomes #1. You'd understand that last year the Free State held first position, followed by Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal and all other provinces. And you'd understand that there are also other provinces as well that are here, which is your Eastern Cape and Limpopo, that are hoping to at least go up at the ladder. So the program is expected to start at around 6 o'clock, and everyone is really waiting to see if this year's candidates rather have performed better compared to last year's candidates. You would understand, Stephen, that these learners or candidates that will be here are those that were also affected by COVID-19 when they were doing their grade 9 or grade 10, and their studying also came with quite a number of challenges, social unrest, the issue of load shedding as well, and obviously those factors will be mentioned quite later on today on the official program. And also the students with their parents are expected to arrive any time from now. And I'm joined by Sadtu, Secretary General. So thank you very much for your time. Today is obviously the big day where everyone is looking forward to hearing about the results. If Gauteng will be perhaps position 1 or the Free State will retain its position. Take us through the challenges that most of these candidates faced last year.
Thank you for having us. Indeed, the challenges that our students have been facing last year were issues of infrastructure. That is inadequate, and therefore it has taken some 2 to 3 weeks for them to be placed in some of the schools. And some of the challenges basically were the violence in our schools. Learners have been facing serious violence, either from community members or from the students themselves, and this in itself has impacted psychologically and emotionally on our students. Some of the things was the late distribution of learning support materials to some of our students, especially those that were in Matric, have obviously been impacted upon by COVID because they were in grade 10, and obviously they had to deal with a trimmed curriculum. Therefore they needed to work more than they should have worked in order for them to be able to recover the time that they have lost in terms of covering the content that is required for them to be able to be there. So these are some of the things, and transport has been an issue. Electricity issue has been, especially in the township schools, that they've been heavily impacted upon, because some of the subjects they rely on them having energy all the time.
Now, we do understand that this day brings a lot of pressure, or just being in Matric brings a lot of pressure to, students or learners in particular. You, as someone that has probably, interacted with those learners or teachers, take us through that. I mean, you'd understand that everyone is really looking at them now, and they are anxiously waiting for their results that will possibly tell what happens with their future.
Yes, there's a lot of anxiety when they're waiting like this, and then it's like they're waiting for forever. And clearly it is that some of them are waiting with excitement because they have worked very well. They've worked with their teachers, and therefore some of them are already saying that I have passed. Is that do I have? Their papers and so forth. Yes, the others are worried of whether they have made it or not, and to us as teachers, our experience is that even parents already are anxious about the outcome, but also some parents do put pressure on their learners, and we are saying psychologically that is not good. Allow the children to be children for now, because they have already done 12 years of schooling, which is a milestone.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. Now the learners have started making their way in the venue together with their parents. An exciting time it is, but also it brings a lot of emotions. For them to be here, it actually means that they have achieved quite a milestone, and they've done so well in the academic year, and they are really hoping that at least this year the pass rate goes slightly up compared to how it was last year. As you'd understand that from 2020, a lot of matric candidates, or rather schools, have been trying to recover, from COVID-19 and its impact. And you might have heard the Secretary General of Sadtu also mentioning that there are also other factors that might have impacted performance in learners, social unrest, load shedding, and so forth. Stephen, for now, that's all we have. Back to you in studio.
Zola Shalwana, thanks very much indeed. Well, of course, a big team for you there tonight at that results announcement venue. Our reporter Linda and Nisi also there. Linda, a little bit of rivalry between the provinces for matric results tonight.
Absolutely, Stephen, and you'll remember that in 2022, the Free State came out tops with about 88.5%. It was followed by this very same province that we're in right now, Gauteng, which came out, 84.4%. So you know that it's always a struggle for all these provinces that always want to outdo themselves. But to tell us more about what exactly it is that they did this year, the kind of work that went into, making sure that they get the desired result, is Steve Mabona, who's the spokesperson of the Gauteng Education Department. Steve, thank you so much for your time. In 2022, I've just told Stephen, you came out second with 84.4%. The Free State came out tops. Let's reflect on the year that you had in 2023 and some of the things that you had to go back to and fix in order, of course, to attain the #1 spot.
No, look, the system is stabilized. To a certain extent, we had to go and work with those schools that we saw that they performed bad, have programs, take them through support programs, and that's what we've been doing. I mean, the districts which we targeted, which they did very bad in the previous results, 2022, and we had to go there, employ strategies that we, just to support them and make sure that they will do well. So with the work that we have done, we are hopeful that we will do well. So we'll just have to wait for the announcement of the results.
We speak to a number of analysts and stakeholders in the education sector, and what they're telling us is that, a pass rate encompasses a number of things, right? You have to look at it in a much more layered situation. But for example, when you look at the challenges that learners had to face, infrastructure, for example, in some of the schools in Gauteng, and at the beginning, when you absorb these learners into the high school education, what sort of challenges do you think that Gauteng had to contend with in 2023?
No, Gauteng is unique, we must say, but we must not underestimate the impact that COVID did to this cohort of 2023. You will recall that these children were at grade 8, and they had to go through not finishing their curriculum. So it was a catch-up, throughout, and that when you catch up, one way or the other, there's things that you're going to leave behind. So we had to work very hard to make sure that we are ready. And the infrastructure challenges that we have, the admissions challenges that we have, lack of capacity. Sometimes you have those challenges that compound into, the results, or they can have an impact. So we had to work very hard, and we are hopeful that probably we would have done well during this time.
Gauteng is one of the provinces that battle a lot with internal migration, so that pupils that are moving from outside provinces coming into Gauteng because parents obviously are moving for better opportunities, and that in turn affects your capacity. And to another level, to a different extent, the quality of education that one gets.
No, we've been improving on quality of education, most especially township. Our township education, we invested quite a lot. We've introduced the school of specialization, which are doing very well, and our online learning, making sure that there's a lot of technology that we employ in the teaching. So we've improved much in terms of the quality, because what you need quality education. Look at your bachelor passes, if it were, look at the certification, look at the diploma passes, because quality is more what you need than having a pass rate that is higher, but then there's no quality. You look at the township schools that are giving us 98, 99, 100% to a certain extent. That's what makes us to be proud of the system, that it's more of stabilizing in the province.
Speaking of bachelor passes, in 2022, the Gauteng province was amongst the top 2 provinces that came out tops in terms of producing bachelor passes, although you came out second. Do you think that spoke to the kind of education, the quality that you speak about right now when it comes to producing, quality passes where students would know that they can move forward with their tertiary education?
Yes, definitely. I mean, passes are quite key in terms of the quality that you produce, unlike just having a pass. I mean, the bachelor passes and all those segments, they are significant. But with the introduction of our school of specialization as well, you move into the skill-oriented education, vocational. You know that your learners can leave your schools and go in the corporate world. That's what we are pushing. And it seems to be working for us because they are among those that are performing very well. So it's a strategy that we've employed and we will expand. You will see that this year we're opening more of those school of specialization, and we think that we will improve when we do that.
Talk to us about those school of specialization, because government wants to have fully moved to that 3-stream system, right? Where you have technical, vocational, and the other stream, right? Academic as well. Talk to us about, the number of subjects you've introduced so far, and whether or not the target of 2025 can be reached, especially when you look at a province like Gauteng.
No, definitely. Up to so far, there's 3 subjects that have been introduced, and we are hoping that we'll introduce more. But you also need to understand that you need to classify learners that will do more subjects, because not everyone that can do that. So capability is quite key. That's why in the school of specialization we have a leeway of introducing, because they would have gone through an assessment of some sort, which give us confidence that they will do well. So that's how we're going to be moving.
All right, thank you so much for your time. This is Steve Mabona, Stephen, from the Gauteng Education Department, reflecting, of course, on some of the things that they had to do as a department, coming out second in 2022 with 84.4%. He speaks about a very important topic around the technical subjects that they really had to work on. If you remember, Stephen, there's a lot of talk around the 3 streams, moving to the 3 streams of education where learners can be allocated into a stream that they're more strong into, which is something that quite a number of stakeholders within the sector want. They want it fully implemented, and that would influence, of course, the quality of passes that the province or even the country produces, because at this particular time, with government taking the majority of the learners, issues around the pass rate are things that are layered and complex, in the sense that one has to look at, the context where the children come from, the kind of resources that are given to these children, but also, most importantly, the kind of environment that they learn in, and whether or not they are capable to pass, in whatever stream that they are put in. Currently, we have a system that is slightly moving towards those 3 streams, that works on the learners' strengths, which is what the government really had set up for themselves to, of course, achieve that full stream by 2025. We'll hear exactly what the minister has to say about that, given, of course, that again, it is, of course, an election year, and we don't know what will happen come elections. So we'll hear what she has to say, particularly when it comes to this target that has been set for 2025. Stephen?
Nisi, thank you very much indeed. Well, of course, that to come in around 41 minutes from now. We expect the Basic Education Minister, Angie Motshekga, to make that announcement.